folks, welcome back to the next season of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Myer. I'm going to be your host, and we are in the 5th season. It's hard to believe we've been going that long, but we appreciate your support. We appreciate you watching, and so we're going to continue to deliver great Branson entertainers to the show. And today, I've got a pretty big entertainer. That would be Clay Cooper. And so it's been over 2 years since we've had him on the show, so I'm really excited to have him back. We'll talk to Clay about politics and the show and COVID and anything else we can think of. And so hopefully he'll show up in just a moment. You'll see him here. Here's the deal. Before we do that, I know a lot of tourists watch the show, but I know a lot of locals also watch the show. And so I've got something I want to talk about to the locals today. And I'm here to save you money, and sometimes I'll do that for tourists, but locals, I want you to know about the Dining Passport. This just came out not too long ago. It's an amazing way to save money on restaurants here in the Branson area. Also have some what we call great date nights on here as well. And the good thing about this is it also benefits K-Life for Tri-Lakes, and it helps them in funding. But you can go to thediningpassport.com and buy this, and they'll ship it to you, or you can pick it up at the bransonmissouri.com Welcome Center. Right now, this book's on sale for $50, and the value on it is up to $730 in value. So there's a lot of coupons on here. Buy one, get one free, up to $15. Use 3 or 4 of these coupons, the book's paid for, and then you are saving big bucks throughout the year. It's valid through the very end of the year. So if you like to eat out, check it out. That's thediningpassport.com, and we'll be back with more in just a minute.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and I've got the one and only Clay Cooper.
Hello.
It's good to have you back. It's been 2.5 years since you've been on the show.
Well, you don't ask me very often, and I understand that.
Yeah. So, well, we don't want to wear it out.
I understand that too. Yeah. Too much of Clay is too much.
Yeah. Well, I like you, Clay.
Well,
I
like
do
you too, my man.
So
it's good to be here.
It is good to be here, and my phone is vibrating in the desk over here. You can
Chris
hear
said, "Hey, make sure you turn your ringer off." Yeah, right before we started this.
Yeah, it's still vibrating. Okay, here's the deal. There's maybe someone that doesn't know who you are, and so let's go back and let's talk how you got to Branson and just kind of your evolution and history here in Branson.
Well, 1986. 16 years old. I was working with a band out of the Dallas-Fort Worth there, and we were all kids. I was 16, the youngest was 8. There's 8 of us in this band. We all play our own instruments, all sing, and I'd gotten word that they were looking for a bass player for this kids band. And I'd never played bass. I played piano and guitar and sang at the local opera show there in my hometown, and I'm like, well, I'm sure I can learn. So I asked the guys, I'm like, can y'all bring a bass to the gig, because I don't have one. So I showed up, and we was in this little bitty house out in East Texas, little white empty house, and they had all the instruments set up in the amps, and we did a couple of songs, and I put the bass on and played, and they're like, all right, you want the gig? I'm like, sure. And we did some state fair stuff and local fair things. Did a lot of gigs at South Fork Ranch, where they were
Dallas,
yeah. I mean, see, that South Fork Ranch is about 3 miles from my house, where I was born and raised. So they had this big party barn right outside the mansion there, and when they would do on location filming, which most of the stuff was done in Hollywood, but once a month or so they would come there and do some on location stuff. They would hire us to come out to this big party barn, and we'd play for the after party, So anyhow, we did stuff like that. Anyhow, our drummer, Michael Jackson, not the other Michael Jackson, his mom had connections to Branson with Cheeside Childs, because of course Cheeside had the Grapevine Opera in Texas, and we had to connect. So anyhow, we got an audition at the old Campbell's Ozark Country Jubilee Theater. We came to town. We auditioned. They loved it. They said, "Can you start now?" So we so we started, I think, about 3 days after we arrived in audition. The owner put us up in a 6-bedroom home downtown. We all lived together. We had chaperones. Our parents would come and go on the weekends and visit. It was unbelievable. I mean, I was basically living on my own until I was 16. My mother passed away when I was 12. I got a sister that's 4 years older, and she kind of helped raise me. And so we did school here, and then we'd transfer. At that time, Branson was only 6 months, basically. Memorial Day to Labor Day, pretty much.
Yeah.
So once Labor Day hit, and Branson shut down, we'd all go back to our respective homes in the Dallas area and check back into school and do school. And then when the summer hit and school was out, we'd all come back to Branson, do our gig, live together. It was just an awesome experience. But so that's how I got into Branson, and got some, went to work at Country Night in '94. And then Paul Harris, and
But
then
you were the MC. I mean, you just didn't work there. You were like
the
the MC.
I played bass. I was the MC. I was the lead singer. I did that for 9 or 10 years, and that was a great. When Country Night came to Branson in '94, I think they came in May of '94. I went with some friends to see that show, and I remember at intermission of that show that night, I looked at my buddies and I'm like, "Man, this show is incredible." Because they had 12 dancers.
They had a lot of dancers.
I'd never seen a country show with dancers in it. It kind of blew my mind. I'm like, wow. And I remember telling my friend, I'm like, "Man, I would love to work in this show." Well, in July, I got a call that they were getting rid of their bass player, and they wanted to know if I'd be interested. I'm like, absolutely. So I went and auditioned, got the gig, and I was just a bass player for that first year. And then the MC of the show broke his jaw, and they in between shows one day, and they're like, "What are we gonna do? We got a show tonight, and our MC can't talk." I'm like, "Well, I can talk," So,
But you can't do
I
it.
can talk, and I'm like, and they were very, very scripted. Like, you had a script that big, man. You had to be word for word. You had to stand here on this word, stand there on that word. There was no ad-libbing, which I'm an ad-libber. And I told the producer, I'm like, "Now look, it ain't gonna be word for word, but I'll get us through it, and it'll be good." And I got done. She's like, "You're really good at this." I'm like, "Thank you." Anyhow, I ended up taking the guy's job. He never got his job back, and that's how I became the MC. And really, when I decided to start my own show, my own business, my wife and I, we started out as a morning show, because it was, we didn't have money, we didn't have financing or nothing, but the Caravel Theater said, "Hey, we got a morning slot open if you guys would like to try." Because I was working for Paul Harris. I had left Country Tonight, went to work for Paul. He said, "Hey, I have an empty morning spot. Why don't you start your own show? While you're doing Paul's, you could still do your own morning show." I'm like, "Okay." So we did. We started out with my wife and 3 other dancers and a 5-piece band. And I knew that I had, I wasn't like just a newbie coming to town hanging a sign. I had a following from the Country Night,
Right.
Because in that day, man, we were doing 6 days a week, 12 shows a week at Country Night. And I'm talking 2,000 people in the matinee, 3,000 at night. It was just, Branson was just crazy booming. So I was performing in a show that was performing to 5,000 people a day, 30,000 people a week for 9 years. And I thought, I've got that behind me. And we did. We opened the morning show. We had about 50, 60 motor coaches booked that first year, and we took it off. And then after about 2 or 3 years, we decided, okay, if we really want to grow this, we need to get into an evening spot.
Right.
And so we got the old dark hole across from Walmart there that no one ever really made it in that place, and everybody's like, "Clay, you've lost your mind. You're crazy. Why are you going to that place?" Well, it was the only option. It was the only place that was affordable, which it wasn't really affordable that we could afford. And we put about $100,000 in it, and paint and new carpet and this and this and that, and we made it work. And after about 2 or 3 years, I got a couple of investors, and we bought the place down across from your hotel, from the Best Western on the Strip there, and we've been there for 11 years now. It's just been it's pretty crazy. Never would I thought when I was 16 years old that this would turn into a 35-year career in my own place here.
God's blessed you.
God has way blessed me way more than I deserve.
And I, it's part of the American dream. It's
Yeah.
like, you work hard and you grow, and that doesn't work for everybody, but that's the nice thing about America is you have the freedom to build your business and build your career and do that.
That's right, and I think we did it. We did it the right way. We didn't just jump into something that we could, a goal that we couldn't reach that quick. You know what I mean? We started here, we moved to here, and then we finally moved to that next step where we're at now. And it's just, man, I sometimes when I drive down the Strip and turn into that and see my name up there, I'm like, it just still kind of surreal to me that, wow, this is real. You know what I mean? And people ask me, do you love entertaining as much today as you did 35 years ago? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do it as often as I did back in the 90s because we were doing 550 shows a year, and that becomes work. And
you don't do that many shows. We know that.
No. We do about 150, 60 shows a year.
Yep. Okay, this is a great place for us to stop. We're going to be back in just a minute with more with Clay Cooper.
Howdy, y'all. This is Clay Cooper, and I want to welcome you to Clay Cooper's Country Express. We have 24 veteran entertainers performing a variety of music from classic country to rock and roll, contemporary country to pop, as well as gospel and patriotic. Call now for reservations at 417-332-CLAY or check out our website at www.claycoopertheater.com. Clay Cooper's Country Express. It's more than country.
Hey folks, we're back with Clay Cooper. Clay, you just opened the show.
Yep.
Tell people about the show.
Well, our show is, first, it's more than country. Obviously, I do country music, as you can tell. And I love country music, and it is my thing. I mean, like George Jones, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Hank Williams, all that stuff that's all. Since I was a kid, when all my friends in school were listening to, Def Leppard and Motley Crue and all that stuff, I was listening to George Jones, and they thought, what is wrong with this guy? But anyhow, I love country music, but it's a variety show, man. I mean, we have 25 entertainers. My wife is the choreographer. She does the costuming. She sings in the show. She dances in the show. She's the GM of the theater. My son Colton's 17. He's been singing with us since he was like 2 years old. My youngest son Caden is 12. He sings in the show. We have a trio called Third Power, and they do great. David and Jordan and Kaylee, and they just have great harmonies, and they do several different styles. I mean, we do Shania Twain, and this year they're opening up with a little Journey medley, which is really cool. I love Journey. We have Matt Gum, who's a great comedian. He's just got great antics, and he's a very physical type comedian, and a great singer and a great musician. My band is amazing. Carrie Garrison is a featured artist in our show, and she's like one of the best traditional bluegrass style country singers that I've ever heard. And then we have 11 dancers in the show. So when people see my face or the billboard and I've got the hat and the boots and stuff on, they're probably thinking, oh, it's just a country show. But it ain't just a country show.
It's not.
It is not just a country show. So I say when you come to our show, if there's a song you don't like, just hang on 2.5 minutes and there's another one coming. Yeah. It's fast-paced, it's full of action and lights and sound and costumes and a talented band and a lot of great singers. And we're doing everything from Roger Miller, Garth Brooks, George Jones, Hank Williams Jr., Blake Shelton, to Journey, to Jackson 5, Bruno Mars, Tom Jones. I mean, you name it, we're hitting every type of genre there is. And of course we have a beautiful gospel section this year. I really love the maybe my favorite gospel section that we've ever put together. And then, of course, we always do a huge tribute to our American veterans at the end of the show, as most shows in Branson do. I mean, Branson's known for God, family, and country.
You know, I think you've taken some of those elements that you kind of got established in Country Tonight.
Oh.
And you've taken some of those, because that worked really well.
Absolutely.
And you've really honed the show down.
And that was the thought behind it when we started out. Of course, we only had a 5-piece band, me and my wife, and but I thought, there is no more Country Tonight. That show was very successful. I know how to do that show. I was in it for 10 years. My wife was the choreographer at Country Tonight for all those years. Let's bring back Country Tonight, but with a different, again, like I mentioned, Country Tonight was very scheduled and very scripted. I'm not a scripted guy.
Well, and folks, here's the deal. If you haven't been to Clay's show, Clay, I mean, he's a great entertainer. And he'll come out into the audience. You'll come and talk to people.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of that on-the-fly thing goes. Like, you're talking to people, and a lot of times it's fun.
Man, I tell you what.
It is hilarious.
My favorite part of that show is just starting a conversation with somebody in the third row or the fifth row or wherever and seeing where it goes. Because 99% of the time, it turns out to be very entertaining. Even if I get somebody that's kind of real stiff and don't like that, it's still
entertaining.
Good. But I feel like the reason we've been successful, and I say we because it's more than just me, is that when people come to our show, they're getting more than just, okay, there's a bunch of entertainers up there on that stage 4 foot higher than the rest of us, and there's a wall there, and we're going to sit and clap. They feel like they're, and I know this may sound cliche and people use this, but I really feel like they feel like they're hanging out with some friends at a gathering, because the first time that we stop the music and I start talking to people, I think they instantly feel a comfort zone that, hey man, this guy's just a regular dude, he's talking to us like we're just friends, and they feel that, and that I think they feel that, and that gives them the freedom to just start talking and doing stuff. You know what I mean? And to me, that's just, I really think that that's the one natural gift that God blessed me with is the gift of gab and just making people feel comfortable to be comfortable around me. You know what I mean?
And I love it. Every time I go, it's entertaining, because you don't, obviously you've got certain parts of the show that's going to be there, but it's always this element of you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else. You have thrown your name into the hat. I said at the very beginning of the show, we're going to talk politics, and we'll talk just a little bit, but like, you're running for alderman.
I am.
And that's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah, trust me, I'm not doing it for the $20 a month that the gig pays. I never in my life wanted to be a politician. I still don't really want to be a politician, but in this past year, I just felt really with all that's going on with COVID and the mandates around the country, I got really involved, and I got really passionate about it. And I'm not against masks. I think if people need to wear a mask or want to wear a mask, they should wear it. And if you're vulnerable or susceptible to these kinds of things, you should wear a mask. I just don't like, I don't like it. I don't like the mandate and being forced to. I think we're so deep into this that people know the consequences. They know their body. They know their health risks. And they're going to take the right steps to do what they need to do to feel comfortable and to make people around them feel comfortable. And they're going to do what they need to do. We're all grown adult Americans. We're a year into this. Everybody knows what it is and what you need to do to avoid it. Let Americans make the choice to do what's the right thing. So I got really involved in that. I'm definitely not for the mandate. But also what really got me fired up is I'd like to bring transparency back to City Hall. I'd like to give the people, the people didn't lose their voice, it just hasn't been heard. And I'd like to give the people their voice back. There's many people that had opinions on this, and I feel like that their voice was just overlooked. And I know in the beginning of this, it was scary. I was scared. I think everybody, we don't know what's going on. Oh, let's mandate masks. And I don't, I think their thought was in the right place, but it's been a long time now, and we've all developed and we've learned a lot. I think it's time to lift that mandate, let people make that choice. I'll hang a sign that says we recommend masks.
So you've obviously taken a position, and not everybody is in favor of that. But you know what that also tells me is that's leadership, and sometimes leadership is not popular.
Oh, I found that out.
Yeah, and so by you doing this, like, some people have had targets on your back, and you know that, and even in the theater industry, it's been tough for the theaters to survive during this time, and so you see it from that perspective as well.
Our business suffered dramatically at the end of the year when we ran the reports. I looked at my accountant and my wife, and I'm like, how are we still in business? We lost this much money. We didn't lose it. We never got it. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are we still in business? Even with the PPPs and this and this. I have no idea. By the grace of God, we're in business somehow, because it was devastating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know people want safety and they want protocols, and we're doing that. We're social distancing. We're cleaning the theater after shows, and we're sanitizing, and my employees are wearing masks. And I'm all for that. But I just feel like it's time. I've been called out by somebody running against me that I'm a one-trick pony and I only care about the mask. That is totally not true. That is on my front. I mean, that would be number one, day one. I would try to get that on the agenda, get that lifted, and just make it a recommendation. But again, transparency at City Hall. Listen, I want to have. Here's my three things: common sense, morals, and open ears. And I don't claim to be a politician. I didn't wake up, a month ago when I went to sign up and go, today I woke up a very polished, educated politician, and I know all the answers for Branson, Missouri. I don't. I know homeless is an issue, and drugs and crime. It's all issues. If I had the answers, I would fix them right now.
So you're running for Ward 1.
Ward 1.
And the date of the election is?
April 6th.
April 6th. Mm-hmm. So if you're local and you're watching this, Clay's running. Yeah. Check him out.
Yeah.
And the guy that was in there, he's not running anymore. Yeah. So whoever gets in there will be new.
That's correct.
And so you have one person running against you. Two.
I do.
Okay, maybe I didn't know that.
I do. Two people.
So I just say I appreciate you running, because it is a thankless job a lot of times, and it's not easy. And so thanks for putting your neck out there.
I was told, man, you sure you want to do this? Because my whole career here, all I've ever done is spend money to put my face in lights and advertise. Hey, everybody loves Clay. Happy Clay. He's a fun guy. Everybody. And then all of a sudden, I got a little vocal at some City Hall meetings and found out that not everybody likes me. And that's fine. Here's the deal. Everybody's got an opinion. I just told you my opinion. I feel like that's the right thing to do. You may have an opinion that's totally opposite, and you think yours is the right thing to do. Everybody's got opinions, and everybody thinks their opinion is right. All I can say is, if I'm elected, I'm going to listen to the people. Yeah. I'm going to listen to my constituents, and I'm going to take the best information that I can get and make the best decision based off of my beliefs in God and what I think is the right thing to do for this city and the tourism industry. I definitely want to put a big focus on tourism and live entertainment, because I feel that live shows have been put on the back burner for the past several years, and this is our one big driver to this town that makes us unique.
It does. You're exactly right. There's not very many other places in Branson you can go and see as much live entertainment as you can in Branson. That is also family friendly.
Sure.
And you talked about your whole family's involved, and so you have a lot invested in this community. You signed I'm sure you signed your name on a bottom line, and you got a mortgage to pay and all those kind of things. And so there's risk and there's reward. And so just know, I just appreciate you putting your name in the hat, and I wish you the best.
Appreciate it.
And I know if people want to talk to you, you're going to be out and about in these voter forums, and they can meet you and all those kind of fun things. And
I'm going to be doing a lot of those.
yeah,
Which is a little nerve-wracking. I've never been answered questions, and and that it's always been show business,
Yeah.
and now I'm getting asked about what are you going to do about the city debt. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
most cities do have debt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're like 172 million in debt, the city of Branson. So, like my friend Larry Milton, he's running for mayor. He said one time we were somewhere, and he's like, the city doesn't have a budget problem; it has a spending problem. So maybe we should look at our tax revenue and allocate that in a better way, and instead of just going out and buying this and buying that and buying that, we sit back and let's ask ourselves, do we really need that before we write a check for $300,000?
Well, just so you know, there was a recent president. He'd never had any political experience, and he was an entertainer too.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I think a lot of people wish he was still in office. Now, there's people that don't as well, but politics is fun. Okay. This is really the first time I've had someone on here where we've actually talked quite a bit of politics for quite a bit, but I think it's important, and like I said, I appreciate you running. Here's the deal: if you haven't seen Clay's show, go see it. He'll blow you away, and not just him, but his whole crew. And you got a great family atmosphere there. It's a great theater. It's right in the center of 76 Country Boulevard. You can't miss the theater. Right across from the Titanic, right across from the Best Western, Center Pointe Inn. It's just smack dab in the middle of everything. And we also have to mention, you have the Haygoods there.
Yes.
Dean Z is doing a limited engagement there the first part of this year, right?
He's got them pretty scattered throughout the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got several shows. And you talk about a great entertainer. That Dean Z, if you're an Elvis fan or if you're not an Elvis fan, first of all, he is probably the best Elvis tribute artist I've ever seen. I mean, he's endorsed by Graceland and Elvis.
And he was on here towards the end of last year on the show. And then you also have, and we didn't talk about this that much, but you also have another show that you do on select dates here, Hot Rods and High Heels.
Hot Rods and High Heels, a 50s show that my wife and I produce, and it is really good. There's 8 singer-dancers and a band, and it's all the music of the 1950s. Number 1 hits of the 60s is at our at our theater. We got Larry's Country Diner, the popular TV show, coming in for the 4th year, doing a 5-day run with Nashville celebrities. It's been a very big hit.
So the theater is hopping around the clock, and shows going on there literally every day, all times of day. So, folks, we'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up. Hey folks, we're wrapping the show up today. Hopefully you enjoyed Clay Cooper's interview. Be sure to check him out at Clay Cooper's Country Music Express out there on West Highway 76. Great theater, great location. Most of the season, Clay's show runs at 7:30 p.m. on select nights. It's not every night of the week. But then when he goes into the fall and Christmas time, he's doing shows at 10 o'clock in the morning, he's doing them at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 7:30. So you'll want to be sure to check out the schedule then. The other thing is, for a limited engagement, I know Dean Z is there the first of the year at his theater. The Haygoods are there as well, and they are open currently. And then Hot Rods and High Heels is there on select dates. And occasionally they'll bring in some other special entertainers there throughout the year. So be sure to check that out. Our next show, every once in a while, I will bring someone from an attraction. And I'm going to bring next week John Vaughn from Fritz's Adventure. And so you're going to want to check this out. He's going to tell you everything new going on there. And we'll be talking about some other stuff as well. So check that out. I went online and I said, how many shows are going tomorrow night in Branson? And from when this launches, I checked, there's over 25 shows open the next several days. So shows are opening. People are coming to Branson. This is a great place to come for spring break. If you're sitting at home and you're like, hey, let's just be spontaneous and take a trip, come to Branson. We're open, and you can have a safe trip here in Branson. So we'll see you next week on Play Branson.